Forward. Halt. Left. 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 Right. Your left. 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 Right. Down, down. Down, down.
Arkansas boy with a lifelong plan took the oath like his old man, then turned around proud and shook his hand. L.A. kid stood right behind, took a deep breath and signed on the line, while tears streamed from his mama's eyes. They hopped right up on that Greyhound bus, swapping stories. They laughed and cussed, and they talked about the girls that they loved. They made a pact, shined up their boots, got the call before it hit the news. No clue what they were about to do. Hey, what's happening, y'all? Ladies and gentlemen, it is the Finish This Fight podcast on Thursday, 8:30 Eastern Time. Running a couple of minutes late. I'm producing this thing by myself today, and somebody's been in the studio kind of jacking some things around, so I had to do some PMCS. Today we got a pretty cool show, man. We got a young man that most of you, if you don't know what he looks like or wouldn't know him by seeing him walking down the street, you'd know him by his story. And you'd probably know him by his tag. I've got John Tiegen with me today, and we're going to get a chance to talk about some pretty cool stuff. John obviously is a former Marine. I guess you're never a former Marine, but also CIA operative, and was involved with the Benghazi debacle many, many years ago. And he's got some other stuff going that I don't think I didn't know about. I was shocked to find this out a couple of weeks ago. So we're going to talk about that in just a moment. Y'all say hi to John Tiegen. John, what's happening, brother?
Oh, not much. Just hanging out, enjoying the weather.
Man, how's the weather in Colorado Springs?
Yeah, well, got a lot of smoke going on. It's a bunch of big fires, but other than that, it's been hot.
Fires, man. We could go down a different rabbit hole. Now, I'm going to take my man makeup off so I can actually see. I actually put that on because my eyes are jacked up from some surgeries. One is blind. I can't see out of the other one, and one doesn't open as much as the other. So I'm kind of ugly without them, but we're going to put some glasses on so I can at least see you. You got some cool stuff going on, but before we go into that, let's talk about who you are. Let's talk about a little bit about your history and what happened in your life and that kind of thing. Take me back. How old were you when you joined the Marines?
Well, I did the delay entry program, so I kind of helps get promoted. So, but I didn't actually go into boot camp until I was 18. So yeah, joined the infantry. So it was 0311. Did that for 4 years, got out, and then did a heating and air conditioning for about 4 years.
That's what 4 years as a Marine, jumped out and did heat and air. Okay. That's like the standard American dream, I guess.
Well, it's good money. I mean, but
sure it is.
You can make, well, it depends on, what you're doing, but anywhere between $500 to $700, $900 a day. So,
and see, that's where this country gets it twisted. Everybody got to go to college. You got to go to college to get it. And then they come out with $300,000 in debt and can't ever get it paid off and don't make as much as you did as a heat and air guy.
I know. Yeah. It's labor. I mean, a lot of people don't want to actually have to work hard to make money, but you can move your way up. Again, like I said, make a ton of money, but I hated it. It got to a point where I just hated the job. Again, it wasn't the money, but then I learned about contracting, and people say, "Oh, you just left because the pay is good." Man, I was making $13 an hour to start off contracting.
Uh-huh.
So that's crap compared to what I was making.
As a contractor, you were making $13 an hour?
Yep.
Wow.
over in Kuwait. Yep. I mean, they say, well, because it's tax free, it's this and that. So what? I mean, I was working 12 hours a day. Where back home, I was working anywhere between 4 to 6 hours. So,
But it was the gig again, wasn't it?
yep, I just hated it, man. I hated
Yeah.
it.
Brother, I'd never heard of contracting, military contracting at all while I was in. We went through Desert Storm and the Kuwait thing and the Iraq thing and all that. And then we started hearing rumors after it was over. Well, they're hiring people to come back and do this, hiring contractors. Before that, I'd never heard of it before. And I don't know if you've ever heard this rumor or not, but I think there's some truth to it. When we got done liberating Kuwait, the rumor floating around that the Kuwaiti government had $100,000 check for each one of us. And the government said, oh, no, we can't do that.
Yeah, Bush said that.
But then you start hearing about these contractors and the kind of money that they could make later on. So 4 years of Marine, back into 4 years heat and air, and then the bug got a hold of you.
Yeah, again, I just hated it. I know I had to do something else, so went over there, and it was a crappy gig, but it got my foot in the door, because then I started figuring out all the other contracts that were going on. Because being back home, it's unless you're like in the buddy program, it was hard to find out about it until I think it was like 2005 or 6 when it really opened up for a lot of just regular military guys and the truck driving and all that stuff. But yeah. So 2004, I started working for Blackwater.
Okay. So talk to me about your $15 an hour gig, the first thing. What you were contracted. Where were you at? What kind of work were you doing?
Oh, it's just static gate guard crap at Doha Army Base in Kuwait.
Oh, in Kuwait. Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, it was an easy gig. I mean, I got in more trouble there than I ever did anywhere. Mainly because guys were coming back from Iraq, and when was it? I think it was about 2 months, 3 months into me being there, and they're coming back in to just try to get some R&R.
Right.
Well, they had to have some kind of letter to be able to get on the base, to relax and stuff. But that was at the time, Airf John wasn't open up yet. They were still kind of building it out or something like that. And so I would just try to find the highest ranking guy that was in there. Usually a colonel, because it's usually the whole battalion. But I would just say, hey, I'm going to let you on, but unless you have this letter, they're not going to let you off. So I would always let them on, and they kind of knew who was doing it, but it's just I break the. But to me, it's their base, it's their military base. Let them on. I don't care.
Sure.
It's just them to get off the street, inside some doors, and get some, and get some rest where it's relatively safe. And
did that help you make some friends?
I don't know, man. I didn't keep in contact. I just told them, hey,
you're just a kid then, I guess.
Well, I didn't. Well, I wasn't there to make friends. I was there to make them, make money.
Right.
And to me, I thought what they were doing to them was kind of horse shit. Because they would literally tell them you have to turn around and go back to Iraq. I was like, yeah, I'm not telling them that.
Wow.
So I'd let them on base.
The politics of our military, man, it makes no sense most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of got it in a way because it was a small base. It wasn't very big. Couldn't handle a lot of people, but oh well. It worked out just fine for me.
I don't know anything about that base there. Was that in Kuwait City or near that?
Pretty close, yeah.
See, when I was there, Kuwait City was just in shambles. I've never been back since then, so I wouldn't even know. I know Kuwait was pretty westernized before, but what was it like while you were there?
Yeah, it was pretty westernized. I mean, during Ramadan, it sucked because, it's still Muslim in the country, but the women weren't covered up. I think I got hit on almost every day. I was out in town because I stayed in town. So, I got to mingle with the public quite a bit, and I never had a problem, never had an issue.
Right.
Most part, they're always friendly. They find out you're American, they wanted to marry you.
Oh, yeah. And whenever we went through, they were just crazy happy for us to be there for that liberation. It was just wild, like a party.
I tell you, there's some beautiful women over there. Holy cow.
Absolutely is. Yeah, absolutely is. And they're have been for many years the country where they're not completely covered. So you can see people. You go to Saudi Arabia, that didn't used to be the case. I don't know what it's like now, but
yeah, I don't know.
Head to toe covered there. So
nope, they're wearing tight jeans, and yeah, they're all westernized.
How about that? Okay, so you got your foot in the door. Tell me about what happened next.
Yeah, so you're finding about all the contracts. You gotta be very careful picking a company you wanted to jump to, because some of them are just fly by nights. They try to tease you with the funds, with the money, because some were paying like 60 grand for a month, but a lot of those guys never came home. So if you're gonna hire a cook or somebody's just an admin to do security work, I'm definitely not going for you. So found about Blackwater. Obviously these, because pretty much it was really because of the bridge thing when they hung the Blackwater contractors on the bridge. That's kind of how I found out about them.
Yeah.
So applied for that. Don't know what you're applying for. I think I applied for about 3 months or 2 months before my contract ended. Went home, and when I got home, said, "All right, we're gonna pick you up. Go do your train up." And so it was like a month-long train up. So it's
Uh-huh.
kind of like your evaluation.
Uh-huh.
And if you made it, you made it. If you didn't, you go home.
So you had infantry training from the Marines before. Is this when you started getting the special ops training?
No. So I didn't get like any special ops training. I mean, I had I was a mount instructor, had so house to house fighting stuff, and then other than that, the only thing I had from the Marine Corps was assault climber, so knowing how to set up climbing lanes for battalions and stuff to go up cliff faces and stuff like that.
Uh-huh.
So other than that,
ready on rappel.
yep, that's pretty much it. So not really what do they call them, like a rigger, but
Yeah.
it wasn't a certified rigger. But anyways, yeah. So that was a lot of fun. That was a hard school. But anyways, so I never got any SF training, anything like that. Went overseas. I kind of knew a little bit about GRS, but not a lot. Not really knowing what they did. Got over there, figured out what they did. I'm like, shit, I can do that.
Uh-huh.
So went over, talked with them, and they're like, "No, you got to have 8 years of special forces." And I'm like, "Yeah, whatever." So every time I came back from a trip, I gave them my resume.
Right.
So it took them about 2 years, and finally, I think they just got tired of me. You're coming in there all the time. No, it might have been.
There's something to that squeaky wheel thing. I mean, there is some
Right. No, I think it was actually 3 years. Yeah, it was about 3 years. I kept freaking bugging them, and finally, like, you know what? We'll send you. If you pass, you pass. If you don't, leave us the freaking hell alone. Well, I passed. So.
Well, that's all. And you said it was about a month-long evaluation.
No, that was the initial. That was the initial getting in, and after that, it was a 3-week train up. So that one was pretty tough for the most part, but I was pretty good at the urban warfare, so room clearing and stuff like that. I was really good at that, so that was pretty much a breeze. Nothing was really hard. The hardest thing, honestly, was learning the comms, and that was it.
Okay. Well, so up to that point, I mean, the world didn't know John Tiegen, didn't know Tig. You were just doing your thing, doing the contractor work and enjoying life and making money and going home. I'm sure making money, going home and playing, going back out on a detail, making money and just living the life. Does that kind of describe it pretty close?
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, again, we weren't making hundreds of thousands of dollars like people think.
Mm-hmm.
I think the most you make with them was like $800 a day. So
well, that ain't chump change even today, though.
Well, no, but we were actually the lowest paid. I mean, people were making, anywhere between $1,200 to $2,500 a day.
Wow.
So again, it's your job and what you want to do. To me, I wasn't going to risk my life going protecting oil fields and crap like that. So I stayed where I stayed.
Right.
So, because to me, money, I'm not. Yeah, I'll risk my life helping to save somebody, but not somebody else's money.
Yeah. So. Well, let's talk about the transition. So you're doing the contractor thing, making decent money, enjoying kind of what you're doing. And was the transfer were you assigned to the CIA, or did you actually go to work for the CIA? Tell me about that.
It's kind of hard to explain, but eventually, I eventually went and actually worked for them. So I was a direct hire. I didn't have a company in between. So you're called a direct hire. So you weren't like a staffer; you were still a contractor.
What was that all about? What was that like, man?
I mean, it was pretty easy. It was simple. They would just say, "Hey, we got a gig. Do you want to go? Yay or nay?" Usually, you always picked it. And that's just kind of how it worked. You didn't really know where you were going until you went to the office. You kind of had an idea for the most part, but a lot of times you didn't know where you're going until you got to the office.
Brother, I got some years on you. I don't know how many, but I've got at least a decade, probably a little bit more than that on you. And when I've heard the word CIA or the nomenclature CIA, that would have made me nervous. Thinking I'm becoming a spy, becoming a CIA guy. Was there any kind of weirdness about that for you, or was it just like, hey, it's just another job?
It's another job. I mean, to me, it was kind of a cool factor. I mean, it is. It still is. I mean, still worked for him, but there's no Jason Bournes, at least that I saw for the 10 years I was over there.
You're supposed to see him.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm trying to keep the mystery alive.
There's a lot of I'll say Bill Gates.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some high. I mean, there is some some guys that know what they're doing and stuff like that, but there's nothing like they were in the Cold War days. Not even close.
Right. So contractors going into the CIA, just another career move. Let's talk about how people know you then. Let's see if I can share this real quick. I want to play a little trailer and you've seen it a million times, I'm sure, but let me play this for people that don't really know who John Tiegen is. Let me see if I can find and pull this up real quick.
Benghazi is under attack. We need immediate assistance. You have a U.S. ambassador at risk. You got to send us.
You're not the first responders. You will wait.
Let's go! We gotta move!
We have no jurisdiction in this country. We're not even supposed to be here.
Losing the initiative.
Stand down! If you do not get here soon,
We are all gonna die.
None of you have to go. But we are the only help they have. Hey, we're coming in! We're on property! I'm on the roof! Don't leave me!
We're under heavy fire.
Chief, are we expecting any friendlies?
I am not aware of any friendlies.
let them come. Let them come.
We're gonna unleash hate on these guys.
What you do right now will determine whether we live or die.
As long as I'm doing the right thing, God will take care of me.
If you don't send our support, Americans are going to die, including the one talking to you right now.
You're not giving orders anymore. You're in my world now.
Haven't thought about my family once tonight. Thinking about them now. Up here in the middle of all this.
Shoot that son of a bitch!
Thinking about my girls, man.
All right, buddy. Let's talk about that. Obviously, that is a based on reality. It's also got a lot of embellishment, I'm sure. But that's where John Tig became kind of a common name. You're overseas. You're working for the CIA. You're doing your thing. Let's talk about the run up to that. What was going on?
Actually, it had quieted down quite a bit compared to where it was, but there was some like political assassinations going on, stuff like that. It was kind of like the big, the easiest way to explain it for Americans, it was kind of like Chicago back in the 60s and stuff like that, in the 50s when the mafia was running it. That's the kind of the easiest way to explain it. You knew something was going to happen, you just didn't know when and where.
Right.
So that was, to me, that was kind of what was going on just prior to everything getting bad.
Okay. And then the day rolled around. Ambassador Stevens was in town and had obviously requested security multiple times, additional security multiple times because of what you're talking about and the things that were going on. And what was that day like? What was it like when you found out?
I was actually getting ready to go to bed. I'm trying to make it fairly short because it's 13 hours trying to explain it. But I was getting ready to go to bed. We get a phone call saying the consulate's being attacked and overran. So, try to relay it as much as I can. It wasn't that it was already like it was just now starting. They're already being overrun. So they're already locked into their safe rooms and stuff like that. We got ready to go, and we were told to stand down by the chief of base, which is Bob. It didn't come from anywhere else. It came from him. That's just who he was, how he was. And unfortunately, that stand down order is the reason why Sean Smith and Ambassador Stevens is not with us, because that delayed our response to be able to stop the attackers from lighting the buildings on fire. So we got over there, repelled the assault, and tried to search for the ambassador. Couldn't find him. We got attacked probably about an hour or so into the search. We repelled that assault fairly quickly, and then another one was coming. By this time, the drone was overhead and was letting us know the perimeter, what was going on. Mm-hmm. The drone said there was about 100, 150 people coming towards us. So that's when we had to make a decision. Again, you got, technically, five of us defending 8 acres with an unknown number of maybe friendly forces.
Yeah,
we don't know who they were. They could have been part of the initial attack. No idea.
And that's the thing, you don't know who the enemy is when there's no uniforms involved, man. It's you don't know.
Well, we didn't have uniforms on either, but
you got to know your team, though.
Yeah. I mean, you could tell we were together just because of. Anyways, so we made the call that we had to leave. Again, the State Department guys, it was their job to maintain control of the ambassador, not our job. We get the left likes to yell at us for it all the time, saying, "Why'd you leave him?" Well, for one, he wasn't our job. We actually risked our lives and our job to come over and help these guys, because a lot of people don't realize that what we did was completely out of our scope of duty.
Right.
Completely. It wasn't. It's like what I mean by that. If one of us would have got killed, our families wouldn't have got anything, because insurance would have told us to go to hell, because that wasn't our scope. We were out of our duty. So anyway, so we left, got back to our compound. We get attacked 3 more times, and on the final attack, that's what killed Ron and Bob, the 2 Navy SEALs, which was mortar attacks. And a few hours later, we got escorted to the airport and got out of there again. It wasn't that we were in contact for 13 hours straight. I know a lot of people think that, but we did it from pretty much from the time we got the call until the last team, which I was part of, went wheels up out of Benghazi. It was a total of 13 hours.
Talk to me about the escape, if you will, of getting out. It wasn't the U.S. government. It wasn't the government that helped you get out of there. Who helped you? It
was Gaddafi's military.
How about that, man?
Yep. A lot of people are like, "Oh, are you serious?" Yep. It was Gaddafi's military, and the intel agency, the CIA, didn't even know they were there, but they ended up getting a hold of them right after the mortar attack.
Gotcha.
And they said, "Yeah, you should have called us sooner. We would have came and helped."
Well, who did that fall back on?
Yeah, exactly. If they'd have been doing their actual intel work, they would have known they were there, versus what they were focusing on was political crap, which I kind of get it. I mean, they haven't had an election in like 30 years, but again, now look at the country, because you're focused on something you should have been focusing on.
Man, there are such deep rabbit holes when you start talking about Gaddafi and those kind of things. It's happened over there in Libya. There was a time when it was a paradise, man. It was a beautiful country. And then, people stick their fingers in and mess things up politically. And we don't know the truth. It's maybe working for the CIA, you might have had more truth than we did, but it's truthful. It's the reality that we don't know the truth.
Well, again, the sad thing, the way our government is, even the military is the same way, but everything is. I'm trying to say the word. I can always screw the carpet. They're divided in departments, so you only know what your department is doing.
Compartmentalized. There you go.
See, I always try to say it, I never can. So they're separated that way for two reasons: so they can hide information, and so they can hide information. So that's in a way you get it, but I think that also involves so much corruption. Going back to even just the assassination of JFK, the more stuff that we know now, whereas the CIA, everybody kind of knew the CIA was involved, but it also goes back to like the vice president himself was involved. So it's just kind of like, holy crap, the deception and this deceitfulness of our government is so ingrained in generations and generations, man. It's until true patriots get involved in politics and actually start pushing back against the system when they get in, instead of being like Dan Crenshaw and becoming part of the system, this country is going to go downhill. I mean, you can see it. It is, and our grandkids or great grandkids ain't going to have a nation, I don't think.
No. Well, John, I think it can even be deeper than what you're talking about. Yeah, president and vice president involved and things like that. But when we're talking about, places like Iraq, Libya, there's some others that have been, the leaders have been villainized and been destroyed. Now, do I think Saddam Hussein was a good guy? No, not at all. Not at all. Gaddafi, probably not at all. But here's what I think they were up against, was they were rejecting a centralized bank and were using the gold standard for their currency in their countries. And there's people in power that just don't like that, my man. They just don't like that. One of those being Hillary Clinton.
Yeah, I mean, again, like I said, there's so many rabbit holes, and I don't think we'll ever know the truth and what's going on.
No.
You got Don Bongino, or I think that's how you say it. And, he said he does that post, like he's seen things that, like, he's kind of thinking the same thing. Like, are we ever going to be able to recover from what's going on in our nation?
It's terrible.
I think we can, but again, it's going to take people actually to step up and not really worry about the career of it, and more worry about the future of it.
Well, it was never meant to be a career. It was never designed to be a career. It was designed to be a civil servant. You go in and you serve on a per diem, get the crap done, then go home and do what you do.
Exactly.
And it's not that way anymore. And we're going to talk about that in just a minute, because there's some things that you're doing now that a lot of people don't know. There's a couple things. One of those things was surprised the crap out of me when I got in touch with you a couple of weeks ago. I'm like, John, I had no idea. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. I need to take a quick little segue. Let me throw this up, and then I'll be right back with you, John. Ladies and gentlemen, if you watched Finish This Fight for a while, my background, where it comes from and what's going on. Obviously, I wrote a song a few years ago to support an organization that was helping a paralyzed Marine to stand up and walk again. And it broke me. It just broke my heart. I'll never be the same. Ended up writing a song, went to shoot the music video last year, found out they're not helping the soldiers any longer, really, to speak up. And God put it on my heart to do that. So we filmed a movie, Finish This Fight, Diary of a Pissed Off American Soldier. John Tiegen happens to be in that movie with me, and I appreciate him for doing that. But God has also turned this thing into an organization and a foundation. And we have just returned from New York City a couple of weeks ago with Joshua Holm, who's an Iraqi war veteran from 2003, 22 years ago, was injured in battle 3 different times, and he's been fighting those injuries for all that time. Became paralyzed permanently from the chest down about 3 years ago. And 3 weeks, 4 weeks, maybe 4 weeks now, we took him to New York, and he took his first steps in several years. And I want to show you the teaser of what's coming up for our brand new 19-minute documentary on Joshua Holm's adventures. Hang on, check this out.
So I had a 60 millimeter mortar that landed 3 feet in front of me. And so it didn't cook off. And so it technically, they would consider it to be a dud, but it wasn't a dud. It had a broken propeller on it. I got pictures of it. I carry with me and stuff. It's about the size of a 1.5-liter bottle, but it has kill radius about 25 meters, 20 to 25 meters. So basically, if that round would have went off, then confirmed dead would have been 20 to 25 meters. Been 31 months since I've been able to stand on even with a brace or being able to take one single step. So it's been 31 months to the day yesterday.
And then God leaned in and he said, you know what? You're going to do a foundation. You're going to be the one to help these boys and some girls, I'm sure, get to walking again, back on their feet.
It became so real when we physically came here and I physically got to see face to face to that unit. And knowing that, I mean, like I said, it's pretty much like an avatar. I mean, I felt like I, plugged in and we became one, like I was breathing with it, like, I mean, it just incredible. I mean, I can't even imagine, I can't even describe the feeling that I have. But like, it was like deep down inside of me, it's like, you know what, I felt like I can fight again. I really am able to stand again, and I'm like, I can do this.
Like, I guess the sense of pride, like to stand tall, no matter what height you are. Not a jab at Glenn, but just to stand. Just to stand, I think is huge. We take it for granted.
Just to stand, man. Guys, I'm just a country boy that can sing a little bit, that fought in a war 30-something, almost 35 years ago, I guess. Had no idea it was going to go in this direction. Never thought I'd ever have a podcast. Never thought I'd ever film a movie. Sure never thought I'd start a foundation and try to raise $1.5 million to help 10 paralyzed veterans walk again. And that's our mission right now. So keep watching as we go forward, Finish This Fight podcast. Anything involved with what I'm doing, you're going to see a fundraiser start. And there's some pretty cool stuff taking place. We're going to do a telethon on September the 6th with Patriot Prayer Network. We're going to start a walkathon September 20th, which was my birthday. Y'all can give me a birthday present and walk for about 28 days. We're going to do an event in Woodstock, Georgia that culminates with that. Guys, if what John is saying is if we don't do something, who will? And at the end of the day, it's not about who you are. It's about your willingness to say, yes, sir, and go do it. So, John, thanks for letting me take a few minutes to talk about that. And thanks for being a part of that, because the profit from the movie as well is going to go towards helping this young man buy this unit, $150,000 for each one, so he can walk again. And I appreciate you being a part of it, my friend.
Yep. It's crazy how the VA doesn't help with stuff like this.
There's been less than 100 in 10 years go out to veterans.
Yeah.
There's over 10,000 physically qualified. There's been less than 100 go out to veterans.
Yeah, it's crazy. They spend, our country spends more money on illegals than they really do their own vets.
Yeah. Y'all do me a favor right now. Go to GiveSendGo.com, finish this fight. GiveSendGo.com/finish this fight right now. Go do it right now, because John and I are getting ready to talk about something important. So, John, we got through the Benghazi debacle. You made it out alive. You were called all kinds of names. People tried to blame you. People talk to you, talk about you being a hero. You got all kinds of different stones thrown at you. Some of them have flowers attached to them. How did all that feel, man?
Yeah, it is what it is. I just push back, man. It doesn't hurt my feelings at all. It doesn't really piss me off. We got death threats. I think the FBI actually arrested 2 people. Again, all just because we told the story, and they're Democrat lovers, and we stopped Hillary from getting elected. So, and it's sad. It's so sad how divided our nation is on that crap.
Well, dadgummit, at the end of the day, both of those, Hillary and Obama, stood up and talked about the Benghazi thing being a conspiracy theory. There wasn't any truth to it. It was caused from a YouTube video or something. It was crap, man. Yep. Let's dig that real quick, and then I want to get to what you're doing right now. What do you, and you guys were there, you've analyzed it for 15 years now.
13.
13. And what was the cause of all this? What caused those people to come out and do what they did? Besides the culture.
The Stars and Stripes. Just because we're Americans, that's what it was.
Yeah.
Plain and simple.
No conspiracy theory. It just was. And, oh, by the way, some of the weapons that were there came from us.
Probably. I mean, I got shot with an AK round, so I mean, but when Gaddafi left, he opened up his armory to the public. So, people say, well, they went there, they tried to kidnap the ambassador. Okay, so what? Who cares? They probably did, but they were training for that attack months prior. I think they just elevated it because the ambassador was there. So yeah, I mean, why not? If you know he's there, why not try to kidnap him? It's not a conspiracy. You got a high level target that we do the same damn thing. It's not. It has nothing to do with being a conspiracy. It just is what it is.
Yeah.
To me, it was a combat zone. That's shit happens in combat zones. People die, unfortunately. If weapons are being traded, I really don't care. Honestly, I don't. It doesn't change the fact that it happened. Unless people are held accountable, it ain't going to matter anyways. But the reason why it was attacked is because Americans were there. The reason why it attacked that day or that night is because the ambassador showed up. It was going to happen one way or another, just happened that day because you had a soft target and a high value target in the compound. No conspiracy.
At the end of the day, you made it home alive, and thankful for that. I've got a story to tell, and I think there's a lot more to that story. Sometimes we need to dig into it. But you just mentioned something a few minutes ago, and you're talking about, when we need our patriots. We need our patriots to actually step up and do something, maybe even running for office. Talk to me about running for office, brother, because you, I think, got something going on there in Colorado Springs. What's up?
Yeah, I mean, I'm going to run for mayor again. It's not for 2 years, but I ran last time 2 years ago. And again, it goes back to we always wait for somebody to fix something. And I said, screw it, I'm going to do it. I have no idea what politics. I mean, I know about politics, but I'm not a politician. Didn't really get a chance to look up issues or anything that was going on in Colorado Springs. I just saw it on the news and I said, screw it, I'm going to get up and run. And, I did it for 9 weeks. I did fairly decent running for 9 weeks. Everybody else had been on the ballot for over a year. But, so just kind of watching. I wait for things, the new mayor, he's definitely a progressive. He claims he's a pastor and this and that, but he's to me he's a false pastor.
Yeah,
he kind of goes with the culture versus what a pastor should be going for. Which again, your pastor should do what the Bible says, not what culture says. So he's a culture type of pastor.
New age.
And he's already tried to reroute funds that we voted on to go somewhere. He wanted to put them somewhere else. And again, to me, you're not there to dictate things. You're there to make sure things get done that we say. And that's my thing. It's you are a public servant. You're not a leader as a mayor or even president. You're a freaking public servant. Just because you're at the head office doesn't make you a leader. Just because you're, again, a politician does not make you a leader. 99% of these politicians have no leadership skills whatsoever.
Well, and you've already said two things that if I was in Colorado Springs, it would make me vote for you. Number one, you're a combat veteran with military experience and have protected our country and our freedoms. Number two, you're not a politician. And number three, you're not a statesman. Man, you talk redneck pretty good, just like I do. I think we get along just fine. I'm so sick and tired. And Mom used to sick, and I'd say and tired. Well, that's when I got in the most trouble.
Well, if you look at our founding days, it wasn't lawyers and bullcrap like that was running our country. It was a lot of pastors and just regular people that were running
farmers
and the problem is now it's well, aren't you a lawyer? You have to be a lawyer to be a senator. You have to have this to be. No, you freaking don't. You just got to be willing to stand up and use common sense. Again, if you have common sense, vote for him. I mean, if you see somebody running for office, if he doesn't know everything, vote for him. He's what you want, because you can figure everything out when you're in office, because you shouldn't have to know everything before you go in. Because if you know everything before you go in, you're part of the freaking problem anyways. Look at what's going on in the last freaking century of our nation. People keep voting for the same bullshit over and over again, and we keep getting the same response, and it's getting worse and worse. So until we actually start voting people in that truly, I would say, have anger issues for how everything's going, that's how you're going to get change. Honestly, that's what the left is doing. I mean, I hate to be the left and right thing, but the left are voting in those that are willing to have a backbone and keep on fighting forward. They don't back down. The people on the right who say they're conservative and all this, they have no backbone. They'll fold in a freaking heartbeat. You call them out. Oh, you did this back in that. You know what? I don't care about my past.
Yeah.
You can bring it up all you want. Guess what? It's in the past. I learned from my mistakes and I learned from my rights. If you want to bring it up, I do not care. So a lot of people won't run because of that. There's a couple of friends that I know that I told them they should run. Well, I don't have a good history. Who cares?
Who cares? And that's something. There's something to what you're saying that a lot of people haven't figured out. This is why I am so transparent, and I've been that way for most of my life, but really hard transparent in the last 10 years. I mean, the day I got let out of jail, the day that I got back to Fort Lauderdale, I went on Facebook Live and I told the world what had happened. Now, I didn't have a big world. I wasn't a public figure, but there was 65,000 people saw that video. And I knew if anything ever came up down the road, nobody could throw it back at me. So I wanted the world to see that it could happen to me. It can happen to you. And I think that's exactly what you're talking about. You don't have a closet full of skeletons if your closet's been wide open.
Yeah. Well, again, everybody's got skeletons. It's the ones. I mean, just look. I'll go back to that one douchebag guy that got elected, the Republican guy, and they found him with all kinds of skeletons in the closet. He tried to hide it. He tried to lie about it. He tried to cover it up. Why? Just be honest.
Well, brother, there's some spiritual and scriptural balance to that. The word says, "What is hidden in the dark will be cast out into the light for everyone to see." And I think that's true. You can't get away with lying forever. Look what's happening right now. Finally, all this stuff that we knew was taking place during 2016, 2017, the Obama and the Clinton stuff that was going on with the Steele dossier and the Russia thing and all. It's finally factual evidence coming out where the world can't deny that it was really happening. What we do with it, I don't know. Will anybody pay the price? I don't know. But it's out there and you can't hide from it anymore. And if you're in business of hiding your past, you have no business trying to create a future.
You have no business running for office. You should,
not at all.
I mean, again, private life should be private. Like should be into some politics, family life and stuff. You got to have your own private. You should. Everything else, I mean, what you do in public, that's what you do, especially after you do what you do in your own home. That's in your own home. I really don't care what you do in your own home. I think, I think you need to give some respect for that. The left doesn't see what politicians, political kids and stuff like that, which I think is disgusting. But again, other than your family, everything about you should be public anyways. But your family life, that's private, your own thing. But anything outside of that should be public. When you get arrested for the DUI, you should be held accountable for it. You shouldn't be let off. I'm not going to get let off because I'm a civilian. And to me, politicians should be held at a higher standard than anyone else. Because you are the public servant. You're the public. So you should actually, if you do something that's you should completely fight for it. You should have the hook.
Hey, Tig, I think you're having some internet challenges because it's kind of getting fuzzy on. Take a look at that real quick. But you're absolutely right. And people have asked me for quite some time, Glenn, what can I do? How can I help? I don't know. I don't know the answer to what you can do. And I can tell you for a fact that I don't even know the answer to what I can do. But here's what you do need to be doing is, first of all, find God, because God is the backbone of what this country was built on. I don't give a crap what anybody says. This country was founded on the freedom to worship God. It wasn't freedom of religion. It was freedom to worship God the way we wanted to worship God. We were getting away from the Church of England that was forcing junk down our throats that people didn't want. So got to get back to God, first of all, man. I'm going to tell you, 50 years ago, or 60 years ago now, I don't know. I was born in the 60s, so I guess it's got to be almost 60 years ago. when the free love hippie movement came in place, it's when I see our country starting to go down the tubes, man.
Yep.
Our morality was taken away. We were called bigots. We were called all kind of stuff. The challenge they had was we were in the majority at that time, but that majority has been chiseled away over the years. Where I think people that stand on godly principles and morality, like what you're talking about, John, we're in the minority now. And so that minority, we can still win, but we got to be strong. We got to get people to get up off their daggum couch and quit talking about stuff and start doing something. And John, I think that's what you're doing.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, you can only sit around so long. Again, I've been doing things since Benghazi, but I've been more involved in a lot of this stuff since 2020 when they try to lock people down. They started arresting, moms and dads that were taking their kids to the park, and that just lit me up. I support the blue and stuff like that. When it comes to that, I'll come out right out against you and still support you. But if you're doing wrong, you're doing wrong. And I think that's the biggest difference between a lot of the left and a lot of right. Like, we don't blatantly or just follow people just to follow them because they're this or that. We hopefully we call people out. I know I call people out. Trump does something, I'll call him out too. I really, again, it's we gotta protect our future, not a political side.
Well, and here's the thing. Let's talk about Trump real quick. And I don't bring Trump up on this show very often. When he started talking about running for office, I really wasn't a big fan. Kind of an arrogant business guy, whatever. I didn't watch TV much, so I didn't know anything about The Apprentice or none of that. I just thought, guy's kind of a mouthy, arrogant dude. But when he went down the escalator, from that moment, I saw the left turn on him. People that had been in his circle his whole life, that sucked up to him his whole life, that wanted his money and his support and his vision his whole life. And I thought, that doesn't make sense. And I started paying attention. And one of the reasons I've come to love the dude is because exactly what you were talking about a while ago. He's not a statesman. He's pissed off. He doesn't care about the closet, the skeletons. It's all out there, and he will kick you harder than you kick him, and do it publicly, and sometimes look like a child doing it and doesn't give a crap.
Yeah, there's again like a lot of times I'll call you some things he does do. He looks like he's throwing a temper tantrum. Just call him out on it, and I just move on. Like, whatever. It is. He's doing his thing, and again, we're not in those positions. We don't really know what's going on. We only know what we can read and see on the news. That's all we know. There's so much crap. I mean, again, just going back to Benghazi alone, there's so much crap in there. Like, you wouldn't know about it unless you were there. I mean, unless you're like, again, I still don't even know everything that really truly happened. Again, and I was there. So you have to be kind of take things with a grain of salt and try to read between the lines the best you can. And that's really, just to go off on some things, which I really don't, but you see some people, I made this one post before the last election. It was like one of those copy paste things, and I posted it on mine, and I think it went over like 1 million something on Twitter. And it was something like, well, I'm not voting for Trump, kind of a thing. Yeah. And there's so many people that just read the top, they don't read the rest of it. And again, I was getting attacked by all kinds of people from the right.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm just like, you guys are really stupid and pathetic. That's the problem.
Read the thing.
Yeah.
Read it.
Again, it wasn't that I'm not voting for Trump. I'm voting for our nation.
Yeah.
That's the biggest difference. Like, people got to start thinking that way. You're not voting for that person. You're voting for our future.
And realize there's other things that we're fighting too. If you go back, you're talking about going back to Benghazi. In 2014, Obama repealed the Smith-Mundt Act, which allows propaganda to be used against the American people legally, even though it was being done before, legally now. And if you look at it, and I quit watching the news, good Lord, I think it was around 2001, because I didn't want the negativity going in my head, John. But if you look back since that time and see it, and we even put it in the movie, if you go from news station to news station to news station, a lot of times when the keywords are going on, They are rattling off exactly the same phrases over and over and over. It's programming. And it's done on purpose. There is no way the numbers add up that there's any accidents involved with that. So you're right. We don't know, and there's a reason we don't know, because they're not letting us know. They're not telling us. So we got to dig deeper.
Well, yeah. Well, these news agencies are not independently owned no more.
No, there's 6 corporations in the world that own 96% of the media. And those 6 corporations are owned by each other. So let's go talk about BlackRock. Let's
Vanguard.
talk about Vanguard. Let's talk about these corporations that are invested in each other. It's really one big corporation, and that's a whole stinking other rabbit hole. It's at the very top. But that's where we have to start bowing up and doing stuff like what we're doing right now. Nobody owns Finish This Fight. We only reach 3,000 to 5,000 people a day. It's not a lot. But as we grow and keep our morals and our ethics and our independence here, that's going to reach farther and farther, because there's other people doing the same things. So, and speaking of doing the same things, we got a few minutes. I want to kind of go to something else, because the headlines that I put out today was, you think you know John Tiegen? Something I bet you don't know. And let's talk about that for a minute. Brother, I want to throw something up here, because I had no idea about this, and y'all are going to be shocked. This badass Marine CIA operator, he also, where's it at? Here we go. He also writes music. Check this out.
Fast through the night while they sat in shadows, hidden from the fray. We fought, we bled, we led the way. Coffee Coaster Award, that was our praise for a 13-hour stand and the lives we tried to save. But we still stood tall, remembering their names.
There's one. What about this?
Rise and move through the flames. Yeah, the night exploded in a thunderous bang, fighting for brothers, for honor through pain. 5 firefights deep, still no retreat, with angels of war by their side. In the soul of Benghazi, they stood, they'd fight. One man alone with ghosts on his back, 4 souls in his arms through the smoke and black. No tears, no quit, just fire in his stride. But fate cut hard when 2 lights went dark. He bled with the fallen, still burning with fight. Around hitting his side, no mercy, no fright, just thunder and flame. He stood like a warrior and gave back the pain. Washington slept while America wept. The dawn came, rise and move through the flames. Yeah, the night exploded in a thunderous bang, fighting for brothers, for honor through pain. 5 firefights deep, still no retreat, with angels of war by their side.
Dude, talk to me about this stuff, brother.
Well, it came from years of angry drunkenness and writing things down on my phone.
I had no idea. And do you have a co-writer? Did you write that all yourself?
No, it's all me, man. It's all.
Done it, brother.
So I put out a couple little of my writings, my poems, I guess I'm gonna call them. And David Corlew, he used to be Charlie Daniels' manager. He called me. He said, "Hey, you should do a voiceover on it. Don't let an AI do it." So I was like, okay. So I kind of started doing it. I didn't like the way it sounded when I said it, so I kind of started rewriting it already.
Right.
And a buddy of mine says, "Hey, you can use a program that you should turn into a song. There's a program you can put your text in, and it'll sing it back to you." So that's how the songs came. So I put my text in. Again, I had a bunch of stuff written. Again, usually it was because I was drunk and I was just writing. So I don't have any more new ones. These are all stuff from pretty much pre-2020 that I was writing. Not all of it, but and that's kind of how it came about, and it just kind of kept going. Kept listening to them, changing things, Googling words.
Wow.
So that's kind of how they came about. Yeah,
I've listened to 4 or 5 of them, and they're good.
Yeah, there's some gospel things in there too, just the way my mind thinks, how I thought about things.
Mm-hmm.
And I have like 3 more albums.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you want somebody that is not a computer maybe to sing on one of those?
Well, we'll see. I got you got hopefully, maybe, don't know yet, but I'll find out probably today or tomorrow. Trace Atkins might be singing one of them.
Oh, tell Trace to get off my notes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but no, it's really cool. I mean, people say, well, you should have just, some people say, well, you should have just submitted it. You let AI sing it. Well, again, a lot of times people write things and nobody picks them up.
Sure. Oh, like you can't believe.
So I'm just like, why? I already have kind of recognition. I may not make millions off of it, or might not make anything off of them, but at least my voice is out. Pretty much my voice is out there, but it's also the fact that now Roan and Bub and the whole incident it's out there even more.
Yeah.
And now it's in so many different platforms. Like they're going to live forever.
Well, that's awesome, dude. So I don't even know the process when you've got an AI voice. Do you have those up on streaming platforms where people can purchase them?
Yeah, they're on every streaming platform now.
Okay.
So only the one album. The other ones, I'm figuring out what I'm going to do with them and stuff like that. There's one I'm probably going to release. It's actually a really good one. It's called The Silent War. And I've shared it with a couple of veterans, and they're just like, holy yeah.
Uh-huh.
It says it's pretty deep. And that's one I wrote back in 2014. So,
I'm going to share with you the next one that I'm writing right now. Maybe I can call you and we can work on it together. But it's called "Thank You for Your Service."
Yeah.
And I've had a challenge with that phrase for a while. I think it's a great trend because it's a trend. It's a cliche. Most people don't put any thought into saying it. They're just, oh, you're better and thank you for your service. But I'd like to write it from a standpoint of an old man walking through a Winn-Dixie or whatever and wearing his Vietnam war cap, and somebody walks up and says, well, thank you for your service. And it just triggers a conversation. Do you know really what you're thanking me for? And so I'm working on that one right now.
I kind of got one that's kind of like that. It's actually, I wrote it because someone pissed me off.
Oh,
I write really good when I'm pissed off. It seems.
Dude, I did too. No new normal came out of me being pissed off. Yeah.
It was somebody that said, why only veterans should have this. And I went off. And when I went off, I was kind of like, again, I kind of copied that, put it in, just kept playing with it. And that's how I came up with stuff.
Man, that is awesome, dude. So let me stream that across here. And you're on all the platforms. So is it just underneath your name, or is it?
Yeah, John Tiegen. You can find him.
Okay, let me see if I can copy.
Yeah,
do this.
The first album I wrote, it was I called it "Rest Now, Brothers." And I'm still trying to figure all this stuff out.
Dude, that's different too. And I've been back in it for 5 years.
But my biggest thing was trying to get it out there before the 13th year remembrance of Benghazi. So,
well, brother, it's awesome, man. That's the big news, people. This is John Tiegen, badass Marine, CIA, survived Benghazi when they left him to die, running for mayor of Colorado Springs in 2 years, and a songwriter. Didn't know that about him.
Right? Yeah. So I'm actually writing a book too, so it's going to be interesting if I finish it. We'll see.
Well, I'm in the process. I've got one supposed to be out in about four months. We'll see if we get that done too. But John, I appreciate you so much being on, man. I got the chance to get to know you a little bit more. When we talked about a year ago, it was kind of quick. We were putting that movie together. There was so much more that I wanted to know, and I got to get down to some of it today. Anything you'd like to leave with the audience before we shut it down?
No, I think I've kind of said it a lot. So
okay. Well, go look him up, guys. If y'all are in Colorado Springs, here's the guy that you need to vote for, because I guarantee you this is just a pissed off redneck. American Marine. I can't call him a soldier. Pissed off. He's finished his fight. Pissed off American Marine with common sense in his veins, and we got to get more of that, man.
Yeah,
common sense is no longer common, and we got to. And nobody's asking us to bring back. Nobody wants to bring back the racism and the crap from the 60s and the 50s, and no, but let's bring back a resemblance of this country where kids could go out and play at night until the street lights came on and not worry about being abducted, sexually trafficked, and things like that.
Exactly.
Well, brother, I appreciate you, man. John Tiegen, go find his music on all the streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple, wherever you find music. And guys, one more time, let me stream this down. I need your help. We are sending Joshua home. I already sent him to New York. He already got to walk again. We're going to be buying an exoskeleton self-balancing unit by the end of this year. We need your help. Be watching. If you can throw $15,000 or $150,000 or $15 at it, givesendgo.com/finishthis-fight. Help us out. Go do it now. John, appreciate you, brother. And we're going to have a good time next week. Who do I have next week? Let me look and see. I don't even remember. I think I've got Doc Chambers. Let me look. I have Chris Bish running for Congress in Sacramento. She's the one that has filed the lawsuits against Adam Schiff recently. Nice. That's thrown all this stuff into the spotlight. So we're going to have Chris Bish on. We're going to have Sheila Holm on. Sheila is not as well known as she should be, but this woman is deeply connected to military intelligence. She's got some stuff to tell us that you've never heard before. She'll be on next Thursday. So let's look for Finish This Fight Tuesday, y'all, and I will see you on the other side. And John, I want to talk to you in the back room. Hang on. Here we go.
Forward. Halt. Left. 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 Right. Your left. 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 Right.
Arkansas boy with a lifelong plan took the oath like his old man, then turned around proud and shook his hand. L.A. kid stood right behind, took a deep breath and signed on the line. While tears streamed from his mama's eyes, they hopped right up on that Greyhound bus, swapping stories. They laughed and cussed, and they talked about the girls that they loved. They made a pact, shined up their boots, got the call before it hit the news. No clue